One of the disadvantages to living in the information age is that oftentimes we sort of egotistically stand at the precipice of mysteries and assume that we can answer them through natural answers. That we can sort of existentially answer all of life's questions by just accumulating the right amount of knowledge or information. When we stand at the precipice of where our knowledge ends and where mystery begins, it's often where we find our most profound existential realities. And Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 is probably one of the most deep, dark, brooding, mysterious precipices that I've ever stood on. I dove into these verses this week not really being prepared for how many questions were going to come to my mind that I simply would have to wrestle with. Last week we looked at in the beginning God created, which in and of itself has all kinds of eternal implications and ramifications. And we talked about that ex nihilo, that God created from nothing. But this week it gets even more interesting. It says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. So it was formless and it was empty. And darkness was over the face of the deep. There was no light. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So prior to God's formation, God starts with creation. He begins by making raw material and matter. And he does it in a very dark and mysterious and inhospitable kind of a way. He creates a cosmos that is dark and watery and formless and empty, and it's completely unhospitable. Now, why does he do that? This brings up all kinds of interesting questions. Why does he do that? Why doesn't he just immediately begin into creation, separating light from darkness and creating earth in such a way that separates the waters and filling it with plant life and animal life? Why doesn't he just immediately do that? Why does he start with raw material? And furthermore, why is the Spirit of God here in this picture? It's as though God took a snapshot of his pre-formation cosmos, and there we see the Spirit of God floating over the water. What is he doing there? And why is it mentioned? And what are we supposed to do with that? These are all questions that I'm excited to ask with you this Sunday. And I want to encourage you guys to come out because I believe that these words actually possess within them some deep, deep, deep knowledge that will unlock truths in all of the scripture and actually have so much to teach us about how God works in our lives, how God forms the raw material of our lives, how God takes what might seem to us to be chaotic and actually forms it into his most beautiful masterpieces. So I'm excited to dive into this with you guys this week. I hope you guys will come out and join us at 10 a.m. here at Philippi Church. Grace and peace.